Well, thanks for taking time to talk with us. We really appreciate it. So we've been privileged enough to like listen to you speak on panels, and it has been so interesting, like really, really cool. And I can imagine on your end too that you learn a lot when you speak on the panels, not only from just like speaking your thoughts out loud and sort of like having that clarified, but also from everyone else. So have you had kind of any like big revelations or sort of takeaways from other content creators who you've been on panels with?
I always love coming to VidCon and going on the panels because I'm with like-minded content creators who are doing very different things, and there's so much content to consume online that I don't actually know everything everybody's up to. You know, so when I'm on these panels, I'm learning about projects that I maybe didn't even know existed, you know, and then I get to go and be like, oh cool, new thing I didn't know happened. And we can just share our experiences, and it's communal. There's no get from it. We're all just coming here to like, let's talk about it. Let's have an open and frank discussion about these things and hear what other people have learned along the way. So in that way, it's you know, YouTube can be a very public learning curve, but at least you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. And from the beginning, like, has the collaboration aspect changed at all, or like, does that? I mean, it's a very collaborative industry, no matter what entertainment, but especially YouTube is known for that as well too.
Yeah, I hope not, but I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
You know, I think that like when I started YouTube, I didn't do it to become popular on YouTube, but now there's a real concept that making things is only meaningful if it's becoming, like, the aim is to become popular on YouTube, or like to get a lot of eyes on it. And I think, you know, it's just that's just what happens. That's just what happens. It's a new medium, you know. I like to equate it to like the pen and paper, right? The internet, like, or at least being able to distribute your own content. You get to make what you want to make, and I think that's a blessing. You know, before, if you're making your silly like TV show or whatever, you know, you do it like on a video recorder, or before that, not at all.
Right.
And now you can do it and you can put it up and you can show it to your aunt and grandma and da-da-da-da. I just hope that people are doing things not so that they go viral, but just so that they, you know, for instance, this is my job. This is my job, you know? I just hope there's still that impetus to just create.
Right. Yeah. The intention behind it is
still
pure.
Yeah, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And then for you, sort of to go back to the beginning of your intentions, I mean, you were always attracted to writing. That's what you loved to do. And how has that changed, like, what you thought about writing at the beginning, like in your college days to now? Has that changed at all? I'm
a lot more entertainment-y than I ever thought I'd be, which is great. I mean, My Dark Kitchen is a great medium. It's a very, like, and I made this pun earlier, it's a very digestible medium to maybe get like a little bit of a message or a thought slipped in, you know? And that makes me really happy because I, as a person, like, can be a little bit heavy-handed. I actually think that my writing in the past was heavy-handed, and now I get to be like just a little lighter about everything, which I think will, it's more fun to think about when it's presented in an entertaining manner.
And for you, what's your process like? Like, is it sort of more of a concept that you go into shooting a video with, or do you actually write some things out sometimes?
That has evolved. I definitely think I used to just give myself a 2-hour video to edit, and now I don't have 2 hours of footage to edit over the period of 8 hours, right? And now I try and give myself, you know, think about the idea and write it out beforehand and give myself at max maybe like an hour. If that, like, really I want to get just like 30 minutes, and then I could spend, you know, 2 to 4 hours editing from there.
Right. And in terms of like coming up with new content, I mean, now that once you reach a certain level where like other people become involved, management, and other people are in your ears, does that sort of change?
The only thing it doesn't affect is like really my YouTube content.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
Legitimately, yeah.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be managed by somebody who understands the space, and so it's less of like it's less of a traditional management model, more like a partnership or like a business partnership. Like, hey, we're gonna navigate these waters together.
Right.
And so, you know, like, obviously there's like, hey, we should think about doing this, or you should think about, you know, doing twice a week instead of 1 day a week, that sort of thing. But I still have total control over everything I put out there. It's still me shooting. Sometimes I'll have somebody help me with an edit if it's like 3 cameras. I'm not that good. It'll take me 10 days to do that. And somebody else 10 hours. But everything else is still like, it's still just from the heart dough.
And what about in terms of like now that you have such a huge audience, I mean, does that impact sort of what you want to deliver and what you want to put out there?
I'd say the audience is like the chairman of the board. You know what I mean? So like I'm coming forward with my like, hey, I want to try this new thing. You know, but like their engagement is what matters most to me.
And you gauge their reaction. I mean, I'm sure they're
I read the comments.
Yeah, you read the comments?
I read the comments. Oh, for sure. I mean, I check out what people are saying on like Tumblr and Twitter and stuff like that. You know, unfortunately, as scale continues to grow, there's just so much. So it's, you know, and it's just so much feedback, and not all of it is constructive. It's just feedback.
Right, so it's like teasing that out.
Yeah,
constructiveness.
exactly. Yeah,
absolutely. And then what about, I mean, how do you manage everything that you have going on? You have so many different projects going on. Like, how do you balance that in your...
I need, that's kind of the point about right now, is like, I think for me as like as a singular person with a singular endeavor, like bringing one person onto the team was helpful, but to execute larger scale ideas, I need to bring more people onto the team.
And are you constantly thinking about expanding and like where you're going next and everything?
If you're asking if I sleep at night, the answer is not well.
Just a million things bouncing around your mind.
I know, and then it's like even when I pick an idea, I just jump to the other, like that's another skill I'm trying to like really hone, which is the ability to pick an idea and stick with the plan.
But what's it feel like to be in the position where you're at the forefront of like leading this space? I mean, it's not like you're a movie director where you can follow other people's paths. You're one of the
trailblazers.
Yeah, exactly. So what does that feel like?
Scary.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But do you like that freedom that you get to create your own future? There's not necessarily a path.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that, like, you know, I'm very fortunate to be able to create my own future. I feel like I want to make good decisions. I feel a lot of responsibility, especially if you're going to start employing people. Like, that's real. Like, I don't want to make a decision and somebody's going to get a job with me and then, you know, let's say I picked wrong. Right. Yeah. But it is, at the same time, intoxicating. Yeah. You know, it's thrilling. It's absolutely the thing I want to be doing. And I really believe that, like, for people like myself who are more like personality, information, entertainment, comedy, that perspective, I think that there's actually a potential for positive influence as well, like, which could be something even more substantial.
And did you have a moment in your career where you're like, I'm 100% in, like, I'm never going back, I'm a YouTuber now?
I think that moment was 2.5 years ago when I quit my job and started couch surfing and used all my money to buy groceries and make videos and just started from the bottom. Now I'm going somewhere. You know? Yeah. So, yeah, that was it.
And was there sort of something that made you feel confident enough to move forward at that point?
Do you want to know the really honest answer?
Yeah.
I came to VidCon.
Really? And you saw the potential?
No, I just met everybody else. Really? I met my friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because remember VidCon.
Inspired by your community.
Yeah, because VidCon, well, like, I met, like, people who were doing things, but in their communities, right? So it's like, I came to VidCon in 2011, which was the second VidCon ever, which had maybe, like, what, 3,000 people there? Yeah. And nobody knew who I was, but, you know, it's not like, oh, I want everybody to, but I'm just saying, like, so I could walk around. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I met people like John Green, and I met people who were the Fine brothers, who've been doing videos since, like, 2004, and they used to have their, like, just innovators, and that's what really, like, I was like, I want to be like that. Right.
Yeah. And you saw a way to mesh your love of writing and comedy and everything into one from those early days.
Into My Drunk Kitchen. Available in stores everywhere, August 12th.
That's amazing. And then I know you probably get asked this question all the time, but since at VidCon there's so many like young aspiring YouTubers, like what do you sort of tell them as advice for people who are getting started?
Do it because you love to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it because you love to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let that carry you.
Yes. God, yes. You know? It's like people that like want to be like let's say you want to be an actor or a writer or whatever, do it because you love that.
Right.
You know? And it's okay if you spend your whole life working towards the thing you love, like that's going to be happier, you know, even if you don't like get outside acclaim, blah 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 blah, validation, that sort of thing. Yeah. It's okay if you need that to continue to do that. Then maybe pick a different thing. Yeah. Or like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, do it because you love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was great. Perfect. Thank you so much. A lot of fun.
You guys